We're sitting here one night, weren't we? Well, where should we do? And I just said completely out of the blue, why don't we go to Gretna? Because I remember as a kid, you know, in the papers, it was always in the papers, puppies run off, they're off to Gretna when the parents are on the way to try and stop them. And with that, Maureen and I we did exactly that. We grabbed a few clothes in the duffel bag, hadn't got a clue what we was doing. Grabbed our, Maureen had a post office book, I had a few pounds, we grabbed all that and cleared off up to London for the day. And she said, well, what are we going to do? I said, I don't know, I ain't got a clue what we're going to do. So she said, well, let's go to Gretna Green and get married. We didn't even know how to get there. Yeah.
Basically, didn't want to be the centre of attention.
Yeah, the big fancy things.
Yeah, but the main reason was we were young and my parents didn't particularly approve of us getting married so young.
We join metal together here in this room. Today, over the same anvil, we're now joining two hearts and two lives together in love forever and never to be parted.
Pretty close to home, and it was a bit of a secret. No one really knew we were getting married. We've been together since we were 14 at school, so we've been together 15 years. We've got 2 kids, 8 and 3, and we just thought it'd be special to come to Gretna, just us, our little family, and do it all ourselves.
Had a piper, which we didn't have a piper, which now it would have been nice to have a piper. Sure. But yeah.
Anyway, you came to give me a quote last July.
Yeah.
And I thought it's quite cute. Then he asked lots of questions about me, didn't you? So then we just went out for a drink when I came back from holiday and got me decorated with nothing.
Yep.
The waitress, she came up and she said, are you runaways? And obviously we've been a bit cautious, and she said, we said, well, yeah, we've run away from home, yeah, we intend to get married. She said, do you know what to do? We said, no, we haven't got a clue what to do. She said, right, well, one of the first things you need to do is register at the register office.
So we met 15 years ago, both working at Burger King.
Yeah, in Farnborough.
Yeah, so you were the boss.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of went from there.
We're going back to our hotel and sitting in the bar.
Watching tennis?
No, we opened up our cards first because people had sent cards to the hotel. And then we went upstairs to the bedroom, and I remember just sitting on the bed in my wedding dress watching, was it Tim Henman?
Yeah.
Playing Wimbledon.
It was weird. It was quite a bizarre kind of thing to have done, really, because it's like, okay, we're married now. Yeah, it is odd that there was nobody there to kind of share that moment with, really.
Mm.
Nobody has any idea. We're planning this for
a couple of my friends, they're like, well, how did you manage to keep that quiet?
We've been planning this for 6 months and kept it quiet from everyone. As far as they're concerned, we're in the Lake District at the minute, where we will be going tomorrow, but we forgot to tell them we stopped off.
An hour later, this man walked in, very typical Errol Flynn, trilby hat, trench coat, didn't he? Little moustache.
Yeah.
And he walked in, looked like a detective, looked like the old-fashioned detectives. come walking in, walked up, he said, you the two runaways? And, oh God, you know, we've been caught out, you know. Not realising that we were safe anyway because we was over the English border, you know.
I was wanting to go to a Caribbean beach, but I thought it might be too much for a 16-month-old baby. So we decided Gretna.
I'm not going to desert you. I'll be there for as long as you want me. And he wouldn't go away, so I had to marry him. So.
It's just meant to be, and the thing of it is about us, I know it's my third, as I've been told. We're as daft as each other. We're both nearly 50, and we just get along.
Don't we?
Yeah, we just click. Everything about it's just clicking. You know what I mean? We wind each other up. We mess about. We don't really argue. We discuss things. Maybe that's 3 marriages down the line of learning.
And then, of course, the marriage day came, but it fell on the 1st of April, and we didn't want that. We thought, no, we don't want to get married on the 1st of April. So we said to the register office, when's the next date? And the next date was the 8th of April, which meant to stand another week.
Yeah, and also my previous partner, he dumped me just before wedding. So that's why I'm so obsessed. Like, now you've got GPS, you're not going anywhere because the wedding is done. But I was quite like keeping an eye on him if he not run away.
Mine don't know nothing yet.
No, didn't tell them. Just kept it to ourselves. So we'll all get a surprise after tomorrow.
It was good today because I mean, Gretna does everything for you. You know, you don't have to do anything, so it's like no stress, hassle. You know, there's no big build-up to it all.
Yeah.
So that's why I actually said I think they're going away to Gretna where they do everything for you.
His favourite pub, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And he must have spent all of the £3 we gave him in rent that night, sort of thing. You know.
He said, what are you drinking, Maureen? I said, I don't know. He said, what do you like? I said, well, I don't drink. I mean, I was only 18. And
I was 17
he was 17. Yeah. And he said, well, he said, he said, what do you, he said, you must, he said, Christmas time, New Year. I went, oh, I said, baby sham, because it was the in thing then. So he said, right, he said, would you like a bit of brandy with it? I went, oh, I said, I don't know about that. He said, try it. I only had one, and well, I think they had to carry me home.
So brandy and baby sham become a favourite tip over the
Yeah,
years, didn't
yeah.
it?
We wanted to do something different away from your ordinary run-of-the-mill
Registry
office,
offices.
with it being second time round for us. And we just didn't want to sort of, kind of, sounds awful, but like a plastic environment. We wanted something with a bit of character and something a bit unusual. So this is what we chose. So here we are. A few months,
days to go.
I know. Nerves are just starting to jangle a bit, aren't they?
Oh, Christ, we're on the front page. Because this photographer, he'd been there, newspaper man, took photos of us, gave him a little bit of a story, because by the time we'd arrived in London, there it was. Oh, Christ, so that frightened us.
On evening news, my dad.
Yeah, and he, you know, so that worried us a little bit. So we went to see the Beatles in A Hard Day's Night. That was on show there.
We were friends like a couple of years. Well, I don't know, a year.
Yeah, about a year.
About a year, and then we would.
He dated my sister.
Yeah, but that was
And we had a photo taken underneath the arch.
Yeah, and I said this would be a lovely place to get married one day, maybe. And our friends agreed, didn't they?
Yeah, so 20 years to the day, we decided to...
20 years to the day we met, we decided to get married.
Gingerly come back and saw my mum and dad. My dad was fine. My mum was fine in the end. She realised what had happened.
Yeah, I remember knocking on the... we was knocked on the black door, didn't we? And she came charging, and she's only a little woman with a penny on.
Yeah, real London.
She said, oh, she said, and she looked at me, she looked at him, and she said, oh, you're back then? He said, yeah, and she said, well, you better come in then, hadn't you? So we went in, she made us a cup of tea, and she said, take it, you're married. So we said, yes, and she said, I've got something for you. She said, come in the bedroom. I thought, oh my God, I'm in for it now. So she's gone to a wardrobe. I thought, well, she's going to put me in the wardrobe. And she pulled out this lovely quilt, old-fashioned quilt for the bed, and she said, I had a feeling, she said, you come back married. She said, so she said, I've bought you this. And I looked at her and she just put her arms around me and gave me a cuddle.
And then to the point, a few weeks later, she threw a little party with some of our friends and the family, etc.
Yeah.